week one, day one of training for the Paddy Buckley Round. Paddy Buckley is the Welsh round, the equivalent to the Bob Graham, and I thought I would take you along on my training. 3 reasons. One is I was injured. I did 12 weeks of 100 mile plus weeks for a road marathon, Wrexham Elite Road Marathon, and I threw my 7-year-old boy on the bunk bed and I put my back out. I was injured, could hardly run for 6 weeks, very painful. I'm 40 and that was my first back injury, and that was quite an experience. Anyway, while I was doing the rehab, well, the first thing was, all I could think about was getting up in the hills. We actually had 3 weeks of really calm, nice sunny weather, and it wasn't the fast road reps or the track sessions I was missing. It was being up here in the hills, and I promised myself get myself back up here. So that's what I'm doing. Also, I thought, actually, not many marathon runners would consider doing a big round. And what a big round is a loop which consists of a certain amount of summits that you have to tick off in order, and different rounds have different rules. So Bob Graham, you have to start and finish in the same place, and ideally you have to be followed by support. Paddy Buckley is a lot more loose. Oh, and you try and finish all these rounds in 24 hours. And Paddy Buckley, you can start and finish where you want. It's 62 miles, 100 kilometers, 47 peaks. And I thought, actually going through this with you might just inspire one marathon runner to come out and do a round instead of their spring or their autumn marathon, which would just be an amazing thing, because I come from track and road, and I wasn't introduced to trail running until my 30s, and it's not something that I grew up with, but it's definitely the most fun, most rewarding sense of achievement doing a round. I did a winter round last year and in 22 hours, and it's one of the best feelings I've ever had. The best thing about it is it forces you to get up and get out into the hills and get out into the wilderness and nature, and you get that type 1 enjoyment. It's not type 2 marathon enjoyment where you enjoy the Sunday long run when it's over and you can kick back. When you're out in this, you're enjoying it. So my 3 reasons are getting all a bit scrambled already, because another reason was I want to do this video. When I injured my back, I came off all my social media. I'm kind of a big deal on Instagram. You know, I've got 10,000 followers now, so hashtag influencer. Don't like to brag, but 10,000 followers is a lot. And I kind of felt some kind of obligation to be posting every day. Ended up getting kind of, I don't know, addicted to it, to those likes and the comments and the more followers. And it wasn't until I hurt my back and I deleted my Twitter and my Instagram and my Facebook off my phone, just so I could focus on trying to get my back ready, because I still had 3 weeks at that point to get to the race. I didn't make it, but I tried my best, and I couldn't take seeing other people do well on social media. I just wasn't strong enough to cope, and I didn't want to be questioning what my physio had told me to do. There's always some other opinion out there, so I just eradicated it, and I felt so good for doing it, and it made me question, am I ever going to go back to social media? And I would recommend you try and take a fast, even if it's 1 week, 2 weeks, see the difference it makes. I'll be surprised if you don't notice the difference. Just a lot more clarity of thought, felt a lot closer to my kids. I want to keep all that stuff, but I do like the sharing aspect, and I wanted to put something out that was valuable, where I could share my journey and my knowledge in a more kind of effective, useful way, rather than just Instagram, which is kind of me, look at me, a bit more of me. So I thought this would be a good way of doing it, and it was something I could look forward to while I was going through all that back pain. Still hasn't totally cleared up, by the way. Still feeling it right now, but you know, I'm digging deep, I'm pushing through. Brave kind of guy. Another reason is reason number, I don't know what number now. Snowdonia is just beautiful, and people just don't know. It's on your doorstep, most of you. If you're in London or Manchester or Liverpool, it's nearer than the lakes. It gets a fifth of the amount of visitors. Snowdonia National Park have been trying to put out stuff to get people off Snowdon all the time, which is just rammed, and spread the load a bit and see what else there is to offer. And I thought, taking you along this journey, you can see for yourself as we go just how beautiful the place is, because people don't know. I've been to the mountains in Nepal, Kenya, Australia, been all around Europe. I've been to every national park in this country, and I think Snowdonia is the best. And you know, you can call me biased, it's fair enough, it's my YouTube video, but it's got beautiful beaches, lakes, waterfalls, and the mountains offer so much. Lots of really craggy, technical, difficult ones, and lots of green, rolling, beautiful, easy ones. It's just got everything. So when we do this training, you can come and see with me, and you can come and stay for a week or 2 weeks, train for a Paddy Buckley Round, and just skip one of your autumn marathon or your spring marathon. So when I was sitting there on the couch doing my rehab exercises, my self-massage, and when I was doing my stretches, walking on the treadmill, and I was missing running and missing being out in the mountains in the sunshine, well, I just saw that there's a space for this. Lots of people document their marathon training, or even their road and track training, and it's kind of a bit monosyllabic really. Tempo, intervals, long run on the weekend. You know more or less what you're getting. There's a tried and trusted method. Whereas with these big rounds, I haven't seen anybody document their training, and it's complex. There's a lot involved. There's a lot of skills that I've learned from trial and error, that I can hopefully go through while I'm doing the training out here, and just help crack these hills open for you so you can come and do them too. We're in Rosyth Quarry now. This is barracks over 100 years old, where they used to slate mine, and they used to live up here through the week and go home on the weekends. Oh my goodness, I can't imagine what it must have been like up here in the winter. Average life expectancy for a quarry worker here, 44 years old. It was so kind of spooky. They had amazing male choirs, as the Welsh do, and they used to read poetry and philosophy to each other, apparently. We're about where I want to start my workout, really. I don't know if you call it that. What we've got here is this 2 routes, so you can go any way you want. I'm just going to go through this as it comes up. You can go any way you want from the mountains So you have to hit the tops, the 47 peaks. But to get from A to B, to get from the one peak to the next, you can go any way you want. And there's a lot of variation there. So there's route A, which most people take, and there's route B, which is the way I usually take. And I'm just coming to check for sure that my route B is quicker than the route A, which is the tried and trusted method. So I'm going to set my stopwatch. Now, I normally run along this, back to that quarry, and then up from Kinnear to top of Mulwyn Mawr. There you can just see the trig point at the top. But there's a different way, and you can see from this path, it's kind of worn here, people go direct, a more direct route, which is shorter, but I think it's slower because it's more jumbled, boggy, and it's just not as firm footing, which I like to get going on. So, but I'm going to time it. So I'm going to start here, which is where the points diverge, and then time this one, come back and go around that way and time it. Try and put the same amount of effort in, and to see which way is quicker. Interesting thoughts as they come into my head. You know, I'm full of them, full of something anyway. Edmund Hillary, Nothing Venture, Nothing Win. Get that book. It's like £2 on Amazon. And fascinating guy, obviously. First person to climb Everest. He said he never did a day's training in his life. Which is, you know, imagine hearing that as a marathon runner. Your whole fucking life is just training. He just went on adventures, you know, get from this place to that, get to the top of this mountain, and that was what got him fit, and got him fit in a specific way. So there was never that laborious element of going out for training. He was always in an adventure, and you can relate to that with these rounds. But yeah, really interesting book. He was asked, like, you know, what was his proudest moment, and everybody thought he was going to say fucking Everest or reaching the South Pole or some other massive thing he'd achieved. And he said it was it one time, or every time his daughter would just go this way. Every time his daughter would walk up and hold his hand, I can really relate to that. I'm having to do a fair bit of walking. Those bogs, uphill bogs, are just the worst, and it just tires you out. Sometimes it is quicker to just walk. I don't like walking if I can avoid it. Just love the rhythm of running, and then not having to question, well, when do I actually start running again if I've stopped. But let's see, this is definitely a shorter way, so it might yet be quicker. So we're coming up to where the routes converge. The first quartz stone in this constellation here is going to be where I take my time, which is 12:33. Okay, so that felt tough because it was so rough. I'm going to go back down and start again going route B, time that. Okay, we're back where we started. So coming down here, instead of going that way, route A, we're going to go route B. All right, so let's try it this way. This is the way I'm much more familiar with. It's a lot firmer ground, but it is further. It's going to be interesting. Oh fuck, I forgot to stop my watch. Start again. Now we're underway on route B. Something else that's interesting about route B is the mental fatigue is worth talking about. If you're constantly having to look where you put your feet, okay, this bit's a bit jumbled, but it does get a lot easier. The other way, route A, you're going to have to watch where you're going the whole way, or you can slip, fall, injure yourself. Also, there's a good water source here, really easy to get to, high up, so probably clean. You've got to be careful of dead sheep. But since I did my back at 40, I'm taking this style like an old man. Maybe I'll jump it again one day after half a dozen ibuprofen. You can see the old machinery still lying around. This terrace here, there used to be a lot more of those. Just impressive to think people are up here building this stuff If you ever come to Blaina in the winter, this is the town I live, it's a mile and a half away. It's not that pretty in the winter, it can be pretty rough. This is actually one of the main entrances into the mine. Fucking hell. Can you imagine going to work in there every morning? You don't even know you are born. We're in the Molwinion. So a lot of English people call it the Molwins. There is no S plural in Welsh. Molwinion. Sounds like something out of Game of Thrones. This is the second slate incline. You can see all these slate heaps, whoops, on the side. They only used to use 10% of slate for roofing. The rest just got chucked, which became a big problem in itself because, you know, they would collapse, fall over the mines they were trying to work. Yeah, it reminds me of the scene from Never-Ending Story with those phoenixes that shot lasers through their eyes. To the convergence point, which is the first quartz stone. Is it marble? It's marble, isn't it? Wow, 13 minutes 10. That's interesting. So I was wrong. You guys are right. Route A is better. Even though I could run the whole way without stopping to walk, it's just that much further. So that's my new way, is Route A. That's good to know. I'm out here, I might as well do Molwyn Mawr. The big Molwyn. Switch back there. Every time I come to that, I remember my first race here, Ras Molwyn, which starts and finishes in Blaina, and it was my third or fourth fell race back in 2011, 2012, and I was quite fresh out of the box. I was running 14:30, 5k, low 30-minute 10k, so I had a bit of road speed, but fell running was very new. My first fell race, December, I was up against this guy. I didn't know him as a road runner, and we were neck and neck. What is that? That's what is that now? Tornado. I think it's a tornado. Beautiful. Yeah. Oh, and there's his friend. So yeah, I raced this guy, and we were neck and neck, and then the downhill he took off, but I took off quicker. I had a bit of that road speed in my legs, didn't know about the cattle grid, smashed straight into it. He ran past me, I got up, ran past him again, won the race. My knees were absolutely shredded, bits torn up, and found out later he was Tim Davies, who is Welsh champion, British champion fell runner, one of the quickest descenders in the world probably, but he hadn't obviously been training that hard at the time. Yeah, anyway, next time we met was here, and I was recceing this course with Mike Blake, who himself is a brilliant descender, record holder on the Triven downhill 8 minutes, and he told me I got to get a big lead up Molwyn Mawr because on the descent Tim Davies is going to eat me alive. So that's what I was trying to do. So running all the way up here, we've been running uphill for about 4 miles. I never look back in a race. My old coach Frank Corwell told me never look back, but then came to the switchback, I heard him blow his nose, and I just looked sideways, and there he was, Tim Davies right behind me. So yeah, I'm coming up along here thinking I'm miles ahead. Hear this nose snort, and bang, he's right there in that bright yellow vest. I'll never forget that image. And then up here, the quad pain. Starts to level off just before you get to the summit, but my thighs absolutely gone at this point, and these views from Molwyn Mawr, spectacular, but I wouldn't have probably been able to take much in. There's Snowdon there, and then clear ridge. So you touch the choke point, and I actually dropped down here so he couldn't see me when he was coming. I didn't want to give him psychological advantage of, you know, seeing me to catch me. So I just dropped down here to hide. So it was like this game of cat and mouse, the hunter and the hunted. And right now I'm getting hunted and I'm having to use all my wits to escape him. This descent is not so bad for a road runner. You can do it, it's not too technical, but it gets a lot more tricky when you get nearer to the ridge. And this is where Tim Davies was really starting to catch me. There was a video of it on YouTube, it's been taken down, of him catching me up hand over fist coming down here. You see me and I look okay, I'm in my red Kenya vest and I'm moving as quick as I can, and then you see him, he was just like lightning, yellow lightning streaking down on top of me, and so he was eating up all the lead that I'd built on Mulwyn Mawr. Now this way I like to go here on the grass. It's a bit less rocky, a bit less technical, and this is really nice tufty grass. And actually what I learned from Tim Davies watching him is getting your feet out apart like this on the really steep grass just can take the pressure off your knees a little bit, so kind of like a frog, and get your adductors and your adductors helping you out, and it just seems to help also the surface area and grip so you don't slip as much. Now luckily for me, when I got into these rocks, I had just done a recce a week before because I lived very near with Mike Blake, and Tim Davies hadn't, and I found the right line through these rocks and he got a bit lost, and that was it. He never managed to make that up again, and I won the race. So it goes Mulwyn Mawr, Craig's Gavin, and Mulwyn back, a small Mulwyn there. This is a bit of a tricky bit where there is slight risk to life there on the right there. Not easy to do this with a hand missing for the GoPro, but just leaning into this hillside as I am keeps you really safe. Obviously if the rock is wet you have to go a lot slower, but as long as you're leaning right into that hillside, this is pretty safe. Well, I'm back here, that's it. Trying to touch the peaks. This is the only out and back on the whole round really, so it's the same whichever way you go. I should probably explain at this point that I go anti-clockwise, counterclockwise. I'm about the only person who does it, and the reason is Raz and Mulwyn, which is my town's local race, goes anti-clockwise, so it just felt really familiar for me, and I just started all my recce's that way and never really came up with a good reason why I should switch. I've got a Strava segment on here called Gauntlet of Fire, which I like, because it's kind of like a gauntlet. You can't go off to either side, you have to stick on this really narrow track, but if you do, you can go quite quick. So on this really rocky stuff here, you're going to come up across this on the Paddy Buckley. I find the best thing to do is stay loose, keep your shoulders down, drop your shoulders helps keep your ankles loose. If your ankle's going to go loose rock, there's nothing you can do about it. If you're stiff, you're more likely to strain or even tear your ligaments. You stay loose, keep your footsteps quick over this stuff, then it's more likely you can compensate. Bog here, I've had so much rain. Oh well, might as well take you through this. Ah, fuck, this is going to be a big horrible bog. And an electric fence. Oh, you Didn't know that was electric. Okay, I do now. I've Marley here, and that is the next one. Probably you can see Rosyth Quarry there. We're at the top now. Rosyth Quarry. We took the second right through here, and then we're off that way to the next peak, which is Altbauer, and that's going to be another day because I'm going to turn off for home now. Okay, so that's my first episode, my first video. What do you reckon?